good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining today's Trustee webinar. Hope you all are doing well, and thank you for taking out time for joining. So, I would like to, before we deep dive about our Trustify email security solutions, I would like to tell about our company, CyberDisty. So, CyberDisty, we are a trusted value-added cybersecurity distributor, providing end-to-end cybersecurity solutions, and we are dedicated to safeguard your most valuable data and digital assets to ensure a secure online environment. So we have our comprehensive suite of cutting-edge solutions, and which is tailored to meet the unique challenges which businesses are facing nowadays across the globe. And we have our headquartered office located in Dubai, and we have other regional offices located in Oman, India, and Africa. So today, our main focus or core product is about our Trustify email security solutions. So we have over here Mr. Zach, who is the VP Business Development for the Trustify email security. He will be showcasing you about the solution, how well the email security solution will work in your organization. So I would like to now give over to Mr. Zach. So Zach, you can continue.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Zohab, and thank you everyone for joining today's call. Pleasure to be speaking with everyone. For those who we have not met before, very nice to meet you. For those who we've worked with in the past, great to speak with you all again. Also, I just want to call out for a second, special thanks to everyone on the CyberDisty team. We were actually doing some research today, and it was actually back in March of 2022 that we started this partnership when Trustify was really first getting its footing into the cybersecurity and email space. And our partners at CyberDisty really took a chance on us to bring us into the Middle East region. Since then, we've seen over a 10x increase in the size of Trustify. And the reason for that is based on our partnerships like CyberDisty. So just want to call out once again a thanks to the entire team. It's been absolutely a pleasure to work with all of you. So for everyone else, my name is Zach Schwartz. I am the Vice President of Business Development here at Trustify. What we're going to be going over today is a few different things. One, what we really want to cover is the entire landscape of email security and how within the space we're really seeing some significant changes in how cyber criminals try to attack our companies. And then the different ways that we're able to leverage new systems and AI, machine learning, in order to fight these types of threats. So after that, we'll actually get into a short demonstration, show you some of the powers of the Trustify system, how easy this is to deploy within your environments. And one of the main reasons why we're talking today is that Trustify has recently opened up their new infrastructure within the AWS data centers within the UAE, which allows us to have data residency and apply to all the compliance rules within not only the UAE, but also throughout the Middle East. One thing I also want to mention, if there are questions, we do want to hold them towards the end, but please enter them in the chat. We're going to save some time at the end to hopefully answer any questions that anyone has. So with all that, we will jump right in. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is really the pain with email security and the evolving problem of not only compliance, but really AI. So when we look at this, over 91% of attacks start with some sort of email, whether that be a phishing attack, ransomware, credential harvesting. The point of any of these attacks are to gain access into our infrastructure, have someone fall victim to a click that they should not make, which is potentially going to exploit our entire company. What we thought was that with the onset of collaboration tools, that we would see total email volume go down, but that's actually quite the opposite of what we've seen. That number is actually low, the 3%. We're seeing over a 6% increase year over year in total email volume across the global network of email. On top of that, 75% of organizations have fallen victim to at least one cyber attack within the last 12 months. So if you think about that, 91% of those have come from email. So as we're talking to our clients, or if we are managing our own IT budgets infrastructure, the number one thing that we really need to look at is that first line of defense which is going to be our email infrastructure. And then the last stat that I'm going to leave you guys with is we've seen over 135% increase in malicious cyber campaigns via email since the start of AI systems like ChatGPT, WormGPT. What's really scary about this is the type of attacks are changing tremendously. Where before you would be able to, as an end user, be able to identify an attack because there were spelling errors, spacing was wrong, things just didn't really make sense, it didn't really speak to you. Today, what we see is the complete opposite. With these new AI programs, basically what you're able to do is ingest data from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from Microsoft, from Google, to understand who speaks to who within an organization, how these communication patterns happen, and then mimic them to make users fall victim to these cybercrimes. We see these on a day-to-day basis with Trustify, and what Trustify does is then develop systems in order to fight these, which we'll get into in a few minutes. The problem that we see here and why current email solutions are inadequate is for a few reasons. Most of the people on the call today are used to the traditional systems, which are our secure email gateways, or what we call no email security, meaning utilizing Microsoft or Google alone. So what we typically see is there are these three different options, either with no email security, utilizing Microsoft Defender. We're utilizing the native tools within Microsoft or the native tools within Google with Google Enterprise. These can do an okay job, but when it comes to the sophisticated attacks, they are falling very, very short. And then what we saw about 10 to 15 years ago was the new technology, the secure email gateway, your proof points, your Mimecasts, your Barracudas. These, once again, amazing solutions. They act as our firewall on top of our email system to now block any malicious threat coming into the organization. And that did a great job. But back to what we said before, back in the rollout of things like ChatGPT, now these are not the standard ways in which email threats are coming into an organization. There's no longer payloads associated with these email threats. There's not a virus you're going to download. There's not a ransomware that's going to get deployed to your system. That can happen, and absolutely, and these gateways will help you there. But in today's day and age, now everything is socially engineered driven. Who works for who? Who can send wire credentials? Can I get you to expose your Microsoft credentials and allow me to log into your system and then send phishing emails on behalf of that? And that's really where the API on top of the SEG came out. And what that does is leverage advanced AI metrics and machine learning to understand who we communicate, how we communicate with them, what's the normal communication pattern, and then how can we detect what is legitimate versus what is built by a machine or what is built by a cyber criminal. So if you think about this, if I am now a CFO or a CISO or an IT director, and I have to deploy capital knowing that 91% of these attacks are going to come from email, where do I deploy my capital? Now I have to buy a Microsoft E5 license. Then I have to buy a Barracuda license to stop the ransomware. Now I have to buy an API solution on top of that to defend against the AI attacks. Now all of a sudden my email security budget has ballooned into buying multiple products, and I have no budget for anything else. And this is really where Trustify comes into play. With Trustify, what you can see here, and what we're showing right now is these are based off of proof of concepts over the last 6 months, where with Trustify, what we do is we stand up our solution in a special architecture where we don't affect any of your legitimate traffic. And this is something for anyone on the call, for any of the partners, we can offer this to your clients, or any clients, we can offer this for you. That will show you all of the potential phishing attacks, not potential, legitimate phishing attacks that are bypassing your current email gateways or Microsoft or Google or even your API solutions today. This affects none of production. It's a full journal capacity. We simply get a copy of your emails, and we are going to show you all the threats that are living within your inbox. We do these every single day of organizations that subscribe to this service at no charge. Over 75% of them end up becoming a Trustify customer. Because of the metrics that we use, it is a extreme delta between what we are able to catch and what others are able to catch. And I want to be also fully transparent here. I only list Trustify because none of these other solutions are the API solutions. There are other solutions on the market today that can do similar things to Trustify when it comes to inbound phishing protection. But as we think about that, I also want you to remember the part about the IT manager or the CFO who now has a ballooning budget. What Trustify does is going to solve that AI inbound email filtering problem. But what do I do about everything else that my email gateway used to do for me? My Barracuda, my Proofpoint, my Mimecast. There are a tremendous amount of things outside of inbound filtering that we still need to be mindful of. And that is really where Trustify sets itself aside from anywhere else on the market. So what we're looking at here, really our tagline, Trustify, the only AI-based all-in-one email security platform. And what does that mean? It means that we can give you all of the bells and whistles, all of the features, all of the functionality that you're accustomed to with your email gateway or even your, say, E5 Microsoft license. But we're going to give it to you in one single pane of glass at a price that's a fraction of what those other three solutions would be and give you everything that we need. So we'll go through these one by one so everyone knows. These can be modularized. If you were to say, I only need one component of this, Trustify can do that for you. But with Trustify bundling and discounting, all of these things all work and are intertwined together. There are no OEM technologies that go into the Trustify solution. Every one of these different platforms interacts with each other. So if you have inbound, that's going to help your outbound, which will help account takeover. And then we have add-ons on top of that. So we'll go through these. The first solution is the Trustify Inbound Shield. This is what we alluded to before. Trustify is going to be the best of breed for inbound AI filtering on the market. We implore any of our customers, partners to take what we call the Pepsi Coke challenge. Stand us up versus any of your platforms today. We guarantee we will catch more phishing attacks than anyone else on the market, guaranteed. On top of that, our Trustify Outbound Shield. This is our data loss prevention, compliance management, and email encryption engine. This, once again, is second to none. This is where Trustify found its genesis when we started in the industry, when we started working with Residency. The reason we partnered was based off our compliance, whether it's HIPAA, PCI, GDPR. We allow for easy, simple rules that allow you to build policies to make sure users within your organization are not sending out unsecure data without either encryption, quarantining, compliance built on top of that. And it's all done via if-then statements. If I detect GDPR data, then I want to encrypt, block, quarantine. Our data classification engine, users don't have to determine what happens with these emails. We set all this on the back end as IT managers or compliance managers. So whatever you deploy or write within an email, attachment, subject line, these will all go through rigorous compliance checks. With this, with Trustify, the inbound and outbound shield, we are creating connectors to your Office 365 or Google account, as well as API connectors. What does that do for us? Our account takeover protection. With Trustify, we are able to determine in the event that any of your users accidentally expose their credentials anywhere, whether via email, website, phishing attack, they write it on a piece of paper and leave it at their local Starbucks. If a cyber criminal takes over that account, Trustify has already created baselines and users around that account. So we're looking for things like geolocation, volume of email sent, data classification of email sent, and most importantly, the number one thing, which if we have any IT managers on the line today, which I guarantee every one of you guys has seen one of this, what's the first thing that happens when a cyber criminal takes over an email account? They create an auto forward rule. they create an auto delete rule. And what they then do is try to either spread laterally within the company to go to highly privileged users, or they try to spread to known contacts within that user's database. This is the playbook that is downloaded directly from WormGBT. It happens time after time. We see it every single time. With Trustify, what we're able to do is a few things. One, we can immediately lock them out of Trustify, lock them out of Office 365, lock them out of Google, thus stopping their ability to spread anywhere else. Number two, Trustify is built with an open API. So if you have any, say, SIM, Security Operations Center, SOARs, we can send all of this data in real time so you can take action in any other third-party system as well. The entire Trustify system is built to interact with third-party security companies as well. Most of these are available via the Trustify API, which we have automatic install wizards for. So for those three products that we just talked about, inbound, outbound, account takeover, that's what we call the Trustify core suite. On top of that, there are also add-on features. One is cloud archiving. If we have e-discovery, legal hold, data retention requirements, Trustify can help you with this as well. Whether this is something that you're migrating from a legacy system like your email gateway, or you're just looking to store everything from now to new. Trustify does this in a way, what we call cloud smart indexing, similar to how organizations like Google or Bing, how they are able to search instantaneously. We have one of the fastest search mechanisms when it comes to looking for e-discovery mechanisms. The last part, Trustify security awareness. There are many providers on the market today. The number one thing that separates us from any other security awareness training is that this is built directly into our Trustify Inbound Shield. So with Trustify security awareness, you're going to have phishing simulation, you're going to have training, you're going to have testing, and you're going to have curriculum. But what are we known for, or what are other systems known for? Things like Know Before, which most people recognize for security awareness training. You're watching the same videos over and over that do not speak to you. They are not relevant to your organization. With Trustify, because we're monitoring your inbound email, we will develop custom curriculum for you that are based off of real life attacks that have come across your network that Trustify blocked, that you can then repurpose, test your users if they would have fallen victim to a real attack that would have affected you, and then use AI to create videos that speak to that exact training to then teach them why, not only if hypothetically they failed, why they need to be mindful of this going forward. So really with Trustify, we manage the entire life cycle of a threat. Everything from blocking it on the inbound and identifying it, training your users on that they should not touch this going forward, and then training them afterwards why they need to look for things like this in the future. So that really covers the Trustify email security platform. The last thing down below, what we see, email managed detection and response. This is something that Trustify can also offer as a managed service. If you're an organization and you say, hey, this looks amazing, I understand it's simple, but I really don't have anyone to manage it on a day-to-day. Trustify can help do that for you. We can do everything from your allow listing, your block listing, building rules, building policies, setting up alerts. All of this can be done. And all of this can be done in conjunction with our partners at CyberDisty, who are also well-trained in all this and can assist you with all the deployments as well. So that Trustify at a very, very high level. There's lots of nuances and different things that we can go into with all of these. If there are questions at the end, like I said, we'll answer them. But if you want to dig deeper, I would also recommend that you schedule one-on-one demos, and we can really go real deep into all of this. Here, this is something that I did want to highlight because this gets into the compliance management portion of Trustify. We showed you before what it looks like from an inbound standpoint, how we block emails compared to others. But this is how we address emails on the outbound side. With Trustify, One, you can set this up just for data classification. We have many major brands, very, very like Fortune 500 brands, which use Trustify's data classification within their own infrastructure. But what this can do for you is show you who is sending what data where. And the most powerful part is on the right-hand side, see any potential compliance violation. You see things like HIPAA, PCI, GDPR, FERPA. And what this does for us is this allows us to get insight into where there potentially could be data leakage and where we have compliance violations that we can build out rules. So like I said earlier, with the Trustify Outbound Shield, we can build out very easy policies. If we send user credentials, if we send bank account information, then we want to encrypt. Then we want to send to our governance, risk, and compliance team. It's all very easy, simple processes that allow us to do all this. So that's what Trustify is from a high level. And then the last slide that we have here, I'm going to call out some of our competitors. Most of you probably know some of these. Some of you probably use some of these. All great products. All of them do some things very, very well. If we want to layer on top a Microsoft, a Proofpoint, an Abnormal, amazing solution. And honestly, I'll be fully transparent with you. If you want to buy a Microsoft E5, a Proofpoint Enterprise, and an Abnormal license, you will have better service than Trustify, 100%. You will pay 7 to 8 times the price for all of those combined, which some do. I'm not knocking if you have infinite money. You got in at Bitcoin at $100, by all means, go for it. But for our average customer, that is really not feasible. And that's where Trustify comes in. We are able to give you best of breed for everything that comes with the email security suite. All of your inbound email filtering, all of your outbound DLP, your security awareness training, your account takeover, your archiving. Everything is in one single pane of glass that you're able to, 1, save money, 2, manage the pane of glass, but 3, save a tremendous amount of time between going through 3 different systems to manage one single project. And as we talk to MSPs, as we talk to partners, to end users, this is really what they want. They want something that's easy to manage, easy to use, easy to deploy, and that's where Trustify fits into the marketplace. I'm going to just show you a couple quick things within the Trustify portal. And then what we'll do is we will open this up for any Q&A that we have. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to transfer over to our dashboard, and then we'll show that. 1 second. Apologies, guys. All right, beautiful. Zoe, are you still with us? We can see my Trustify screen.
Yes, Zach, we can see.
All right, audio still coming in. I'm not talking to myself. All right. So anyway, what we're looking at here, this is the Trustify web interface. As a system administrator, the beauty of this is where you're going to log into on a daily basis. This is going to show you everything you would need from your entire email ecosystem. On the left-hand side, we're going to see overall trends, how many threats are coming into the organization on a daily, a weekly, a monthly level, all the different types of threats. On the right-hand side, we're going to get into, we'll pull some more data just to make it a little more interesting. On the right-hand side, we're going to have some of the more nuanced type of attacks. So things like phishing, impersonation, spam, spoofing, all of these things. And what's beautiful about Trustify, like I mentioned before, everything is interconnected. So if I say, hey, phishing attacks, this is interesting. I received 11 phishing attacks. What are these? Now I have to go research them. How do I do that? Do I have to find out where these are? No. I click right into this. This will immediately pull all of these up directly into my quarantine management system, where I can then come in, analyze, and understand why this is a potential threat. On the other hand, I have all of my outbound trends, understanding from a data compliance side. Have we triggered any rules? Are there any emails that are quarantined that we needed to manage? Once again, I can click into any one of these and understand all of them. Finally, down below, we can see here, my team is working only in the United States, but understand where we have users logging into the system. If we have users logging in from geolocations where potentially we don't have users, this might be something that we want to look at. But all this is readily available, as well as our other account takeover information here, looking for things like I talked about before. Auto forward or auto delete rules, people logging in from strange locations, new devices. All of this is going to show here. And then back to the other slide that we showed that you're probably going to recognize from before. This is that data classification that we showed earlier. So we can see all the data. All of this is dynamic. Everything within Trustify is a dynamic situation. So we can say, who are these? I mean, meeting links probably okay to send, but who were they? What were they? I can click into this and see all of the metadata behind this. There's immense power behind the Trustify system. And then let's say hypothetically also, we got some other stuff. Credit card format. Who sent out credit card information? We have 3 people sent out credit card. What do we want to do about that? Let's build out rules and policies. If compliance of credit card, PCI, fair, is detected, what do we want to do? Let's encrypt the email. Let's require multi-factor authentication. Let's have Let's have a governance, risk, and compliance team be copied on it. These are things we can do with a couple clicks. The way that the Trustify system was developed is for, like I said, ease of use, ease of management. You don't have to be a Trustify dedicated engineer to be able to manage this on a day-to-day basis. That's why when we mentioned before, we offer to manage this for you. But for the most part, this is easily managed by a team of one within an organization. Everything else behind Trustify, we can see here. And like I said, we can go through a more in-depth demo for anyone else that really wants to learn more about it. But with that, I'm going to pause for a second. We'll keep this screen up in case there are questions we wanted to show anything. But Zohab, do we have any questions in the chat that we want to dig into? Are you with us? Anyone there? Hello, hello.
Anyone have any questions regarding the solution? So please feel free to put in the chat box so I can unmute and you can ask your questions. And you can just raise a hand, I can unmute. Yes, yes, Guru, you can talk. Just a minute. Yes, Guru, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Hi, my name is Guru. My question here is, this is with respect to the inbound and outbound, traffic that goes in and out of the customer's mailbox. Where is this Trustify exactly positioned? I mean, is it like the inbound and the outbound emails goes through the complete traffic? Either it goes through the Trustify platform, or do you have any kind of tether, onto the customer's mailbox? How does this mechanism works?
So, hi, Guru. Nice to meet you. Great question. So let me pull this slideshow back up and show you this. Happy I kept this in here. But this is the way that it works. So with Trustify, the way that we're set up is it can be multiple ways, but this is the main way that we set this up. If we look on the left-hand side, this would be an email, the sender's mailbox, which is getting sent into the client's Microsoft or Google environment.
Mhm.
These 5 dots here, this is what a traditional email gateway would look like. So this is not where Trustify sits. Although we can, hypothetically, if you say had an on-prem environment, we can operate in an MX fashion. But the way that we do this is an email gets sent in, it gets sent to Microsoft, and then it's going to get routed through a email relay directly to Trustify. So with the email relay, this is then getting routed down below to here through to our inbound shield. This is where it goes through over 150 point AI scan, where we're scanning for malicious links, attachment, content analysis, authentication standards, things like SPF, DKIM, DMARC, making sure this is truly an authenticated email. Anything that we deem as a threat is going to move forward from 3 to 4 to 5 to our quarantine management system. All that sits within the AWS network within the UAE region. Anything that we deem as legitimate is then going to pass through back to Google or Microsoft, which then we rely on them to deliver to the mailbox. So some of the positives about this versus say your email gateway is one, that MX records are non-published, so they're pointed to Microsoft or Google. None of your clients will have any idea, or yourself will have no idea. You can't look it up in things like MX Toolbox that this is getting routed through to Trustify. And all of this data is then hosted within the UAE. It's all mandated by the geo governance, and we're still going to protect you for all of this. But it's an email relay setup that basically the way that this works. Does that make
Now,
sense?
Yeah. If you say relay, just a hypothetical question. Let's just say, an email which has some links in it or some attachments. Does this relay is capable of, opening the attachment, reading them through, or identifying if there's any spam or any links that may lead to some kind of ransomware? Or will this tool also be able to analyze the legitimacy of the link that's there on the body of the email? Oh, just throw some
Absolutely.
light there.
Yeah, so absolutely. We are testing not only the link, but the link within the link within the link. We go up to 15 layers deep. We leverage things like OCR technology. So things, for example, if there's a QR code embedded within the email, or even an attachment within a password protected doc, Trustify has mechanisms that are going through and breaking all of these different tactics that cyber criminals use to get to that link. The biggest threat vector that we actually see today that's quite interesting is that cyber criminals are now utilizing the CAPTCHA technology. So CAPTCHA meaning where you have to click the bicycle in 4 different areas or whatever it is. They hide this behind, so they hide that malicious link behind the CAPTCHA, because they're doing things to try to get this past the mechanisms of the email gateway. And that's where these gateways fall short, where your end user has no idea. It looks legitimate to them. It looks like a Microsoft login page. They go through that system, and now that whole link is now invisible to the cyber defense system. With Trustify, we leverage AI and bots in order to go through these and mimic that of an end user to get to that system. So 100% Trustify is, and the simple side is 100% going to detect any link, any attachment, anything that's coming in. But we go 50 layers deep past that. We're trying to break Google Docs, password protected docs, email encryption documents. We try the top 100,000 most commonly used passwords. As cyber criminals get more sophisticated, Trustify becomes more sophisticated in the way that we try to stop against them. If you think about it, it's like climbing up a ladder. The cyber criminal gets better, we see it, then we roll out mechanisms to stop it. It's constant battle back and forth with that. But to answer your question in a very long-winded way, yes, Trustify will block any link, attachment that are coming through that has any malicious content or even intention.
Awesome. you.
Fine. Thank you, Guru. And so we have one more person having a doubt. Just a minute. Yes, please go ahead. Actually, due to some technical glitch, I cannot see the name. I have unmuted you. Can you please ask a question? Fine. There are some questions in the chat box, Zach. So, a minute. I'm audible, right?
Very audible. Yeah, if you want to read them, I'm happy to answer
So
them.
the question is, in the DLP module, is it possible to create custom regex by
Absolutely.
ourselves?
Great question. Yep. So great question. Answer is absolutely yes. We can do this based off of Trustify has thousands of data points when it comes to inbound data classification, but we don't know everything. So you have a 10.R93 form. We can ingest that from an optical character recognition, or we can build out custom regexes based off of your data type to identify them and then utilize Trustify's email encryption. Our email encryption, we weren't able to get into today just for time purposes. But this, once again, is what we believe a superior mechanism to any of the email gateways, which, as I'm sure everyone knows, forced registration, username, password. With Trustify, decryption is directly within the inbox. But yes, regex is 100% supported. We can help you with that. We can build your own. Also, we give you an engine to build those for yourself.
Okay. Next question is, can you briefly explain how the encryption is working in a technical perspective?
Sure. So with Trustify, we utilize 256-bit AES encryption over TLS 1.3. All of the KMS, the key management system, is all managed on the Trustify side. So really nothing for the end user to do when it comes to the standard encryption. On top of that, we also can leverage multiple multi-factor authentication methods. So the methods that we have are password, SMS. So if we have a recipient's cell phone number, we can send a PIN code to their phone. We have single sign-on. So we integrate with basically all of the SAML providers, but right out of the box, Microsoft, Google, Yahoo, Okta, OneLogin. These are developed right out of the box. And then finally, we can use secondary email addresses. So multiple ways that we can configure this. It's very, very flexible. And with Trustify rules and policies, you can do this based off the preference of your recipient. So it allows you to basically make sure that your emails are being able to be opened by the recipient, which is a huge problem in the encryption space, which is abandonment. People don't understand how to open an email, so they skip it. With Trustify, we make the process very, very simple.
Perfect. So the next question is email archiving a part of the solution?
It is, absolutely. So it is, it's an add-on feature with Trustify. So with this, we can migrate your data from other systems, Proofpoint, Mimecast, Barracuda, Microsoft, Google, whatever, or we can archive from net new. And this is going to give you everything from your e-discovery, so search from, who, what date range, whatever, all of the standard e-discovery. What really separates us from the others on the market, though, are two things. One, speed. If anyone has had the pleasure of going through an e-discovery case, trying to pull records from 5 years ago, from this date range, wait, what we call the spinning wheel of death. It's going to take hours, days, weeks, who knows. But with Trustify, it happens instantly. The other thing is how we index data. Everything within our data classification archive system is also scored from a compliance mechanism. So if you saw before where I showed we built out that PCI email encryption rule, now you can know not only what emails did Zach send from this date to this date in 2024, you could run a query that says, I want to know every HIPAA violation that we had in February of 2025. These are how granular you're able to get with the Trustify system based off the speed in which we're able to query emails. So yes, Archive is a feature of Trustify.
Perfect. The next question is, does it support all the email platforms like M365, G Suite, etc.?
Sorry, one more time.
Does it support all the email platforms like M365, G Suite, etc.?
Absolutely. So we have full parity between Google and Microsoft. Those are the primary platforms that we work with. Over, I would say 95% of our customers are either on Office 365 or Google. That does not mean that we cannot work with you if you're not on that. So we have also many Microsoft on-prem customers. What we're seeing now is typically they're working through migrations where we can assist them with the on-prem to Office to hybrid to Microsoft Office 365 migrations. But we can work with other systems as well, whether it be Zimbra or cPanel. These other instances, typically we would have to operate in an MX architecture. So it'd be slightly different from what you're seeing today. These 4 dots on the left, that would be Trustify. But we're agnostic. Regardless of what infrastructure or mail client that you have, Trustify can operate within your environment.
Perfect. The next question is, can you show the types of logs and activities?
So it's really everything. It'll take me a minute, but with Trustify, every single action that takes place is logged, whether this be an incident, whether this be an audit, anything that you do, there is a full audit log of everything. So nothing of this can be edited, whether you're monitoring emails, whether you're looking for threats, whether you have account takeover protection, whether you're even doing things like a threat simulation campaign. Everything within the Trustify system is built on an open API. So whether you want to do things like export this via one of our feeds, or you want to sync this directly into your SIM or your CRM or your security operations center, all of this is readily available. So the answer is every single click, every action, every email is all loggable with Trustify.
Perfect. The next one is, I would like to explore the demo of the solution, especially the EMDR and the open API offerings. So that I would say, like, of course, Cybersty will be giving you the demo of the solution, and demo POC implementation will be doing for you. And yes. The next question is, as a data residency in UAE, it won't comply to the India data residency complaints. Do you have a solution hosted in India region as well?
Great question. I wish that I did. Currently, the answer is no. So within Trustify, if we go to our plan settings, regions, this is where we currently have data residency today. We are constantly looking at new regions. As I said, even since we started working with Cybersty, we've grown over 10x. So as we open up new markets, these will become available. But unfortunately, today, data residency within India is not available.
All right. The next question is, the features like anti-spam and anti-phishing only depending on signature base. If any zero-day attack coming through email, possible to detect that?
So once again, great question. With Trustify, the way that we look at data, our inbound emails, is going to be much different from your standard email gateway system. And when I say that, it means your traditional gateway, the way that they look at inbound emails is based off of static databases. Have they detected this email as a threat in the past? If the answer is yes, then they're going to block it for all of their future clients. Hence, it's a zero-day attack for the first client. With Trustify, because we sync with how you communicate, who you communicate, and how emails are actually written, this allows us to detect zero-day attacks far faster than any of our competitors on the market. That being said, There are sophisticated attacks that Trustify will miss. Any person who says they've developed a system to protect against 100% of inbound phishing attacks, zero-day attacks, ransomware, whatever, they are lying. And for that reason, another thing that Trustify does is with our threat response, what we do proactively is if we detect a new zero-day attack within any user mailbox across our entire network, we will proactively run this. And say we detect a zero-day attack in anywhere on the globe, Southeast Asia. We detect that, and now we see that living in other mailboxes throughout the Trustify network. We will proactively run this script that will search for that file, that data type, that sender, that IP address that sent this, and we will proactively pull this out of your users' mailboxes. So based off of the API that we have with Microsoft as well that we have with Google, we have the ability to pull emails out proactively. So we're going to do this for you. We didn't get into this. We'll get into this more in a demo, but you'll also have this functionality for yourselves. So someone sends something they shouldn't send. You can search through emails. You want to test Trustify with how we would have responded 6 months ago with emails that are living within your inbox. Trustify can still interact with these. So there's lots of different nuances to this, but I would say to summarize it, 1, Trustify is going to detect zero-day attacks that other cannot. 2, if we detect them somewhere, we are going to protect you even though it did not affect you yet.
Perfect. One next question is, do recipients need Trustify to receive encrypted email?
Nope, absolutely not. That is the major selling point to Trustify. You do not need to be a Trustify member to receive an email. The biggest problem that we saw within the email encryption space, and this is where we started, was the forced registration process. If you have a user who receives an encrypted email and they have to create a username and password, only, I believe it's somewhere like only 57% end up following through with that entire process. With Trustify, that's not the case. You validate with 2 clicks and you're able to receive the email, thus preserving the productivity of why that email was sent. So do not need to be a Trustify member.
All right. What kind of reporting and alerts are available, and how easy is the deployment and management?
Once again, a couple great questions. Deployment and management. So plan settings. We want to set our integrations, connect to Microsoft. We have full installations built with Microsoft, with Google. It's connected now, but this is a 3-click process. All of the PowerShell commands, everything is done on the Trustify side. Average time to get set up with Trustify is 10 minutes. That being said, that is just for the connections. The way that we operate versus most other organizations operate is they'll set it up for you, and then it's up to you to figure everything else out. With Trustify, through our partnership with Residency, we take a much more hands-on approach where we will walk you through this entire process, not only the setup, but best practices, rules and policies, how to configure all of this. It's very simple, but it is something that we will assist with. So full install wizard. On the reporting side, I mentioned this a couple times. Everything is available via API. There are reports based for everything. There's nothing that you can do within the Trustify system, whether that is how emails are coming in, what clicks have been made, what changes have been made, what DLP rules have been triggered. Everything is customizable. Everything is exportable. Everything is able to be generated in a report. If there's something that you don't see, we can build it for you. When we think about Trustify as your boutique email security platform. The way that this system was built was based off of requests, based off of insight from our partners, from our customers and partners like Residency. So yes, all available.
Perfect. Next question is, within Trustify, what indicators or detection mechanisms are available to identify vendor impersonation or internal email account compromise?
Once again, lots of great questions. So a few different things here. When it comes to inbound emails, there's over 150 data points that we look at for an inbound email. Other providers, they're looking at static databases. Is it a threat? Yes. Is it a threat? No. With Trustify, we're looking at, and I'll show you. We'll just jump in quickly. Quarantine management. Let's look at an email. Anything, doesn't matter. Everything from the link analysis, the file analysis, a content analysis, analyzing how is the email written, analyzing the SPF, the DMARC, the DKIM, what's the IP address, when were these URLs developed, when was this IP deployed, what's the relationship between the sender and the recipient, have we ever communicated with them in the past, what's the context in which we communicated with them in the past. All of these things are different triggers that are going to apply to an overall Trustify security score that's then going to dictate if this email is going to be moved to a quarantine or if it's going to be deemed as safe and moved to the end user. So there's all sorts of nuances when it comes to inbound email. Like I said, 150 data points. Those are a few. When it comes to account takeover, though, this is what we look at here. These are the main categories. New suspicious device changes. Are they logging in from multiple devices? Could it be a cyber criminal that took this over? New location. Do they log in typically from Dubai every day? And now they're logging in from Japan and then the US within the same day. Things that are not feasible, what we call a Superman login. Only Superman can fly that fast. Email sent to new or free domains. This is typically synonymous with someone trying to exfiltrate data. Maybe you have a disgruntled employee. They're trying to steal credit card information, client information, banking information. You see this a lot. Suspicious mailbox rules, auto forward, auto delete. We highlighted this earlier. This is the #1 playbook when it comes to any single cyber criminal. They get access regardless how. Someone puts their credentials in a website, they're going to use this to try to spread. Once they spread, are they looking at increased complaint rates from others because they say, why am I getting spammed by whoever? And then lastly, I didn't mention this, but this comes free with the Trustify solution. We have a dark web monitoring agent. If we detect any of our partners, any of our customers, anyone who's connected to the Trustify system, their email addresses or their passwords anywhere on the dark web, we will then immediately shut down that user and give recommendations. Password resets, disable users, re-enable. All this is included with the Trustify system.
The next question is, if the email service facing any issue or down issue or something like that, is it possible to keep and use Trustify as an email service?
It is, absolutely. So this would be in the MX architecture. So it depends. In today's day and age, there are positives and negatives about different architectures. I personally believe that Microsoft's infrastructure is resilient as well as Google. But hypothetically, they did have an outage. What you would be able to do would be to revert your MX records to Trustify. And then there you would have your backup inbox where you would be able to receive all of your emails outside of Microsoft or Google. They would all come here. You can read anything you want, as well as you would be able to send emails as well. So although you would have limited functionality, you would not be dead in the water. You can still both send and receive emails through the Trustify system, even if your Office 365 or Google instance is down. Yes.
Right. Is there a size limit for attachments?
There is, yes. But the size limit is 1 gig. So with Trustify encryption, what we're able to do is actually send 1 gig bidirectionally. So if you are sending images, videos, large file, CAD files, for example, they're massive. All that can be done with Trustify. And what's even nicer about this, even better, is you could send someone, say, a blank email. They don't have to sign up for Trustify. It's encrypted, and they can reply back with a 1 gig attachment. Say you need something from one of your clients, you need them to send back that video, that contract. They can send it back based off an email you sent them that's encrypted. So yeah, up to 1 gig.
All right. What compliance standards do you support? GDPR and HIPAA?
GDPR, HIPAA, I'll show you briefly here. So if we were to create a rule, things like compliance, everything from GDPR, FERPA, HIPAA, PCI, CCPA, POPI, LGPD, PDPO, GLBA. So all of these are right out of the box. There's other standards like NIST, SOC 2, ISO 27701 that we all adhere to. But for DLP, these are the main parent categories.
Right. What is the footfall in UAE? Any ratings?
Sorry, one more time.
What is the footfall in UAE? Any ratings?
The footfall.
Maybe they mean by a customer references.
Customer references. I mean, many. So I would say WB better reference for that. We have a ton of customers through Cyberdisty. I'm sure they would be happy to be references, but you would be the main point of contact on that.
All right. So one last question that's from Guru. If a customer asks for a POC or a trial, would we be able to give one? And for how long can the trial be? And how many email required for a POC or a trial? So,
Great question. So we recommend this. I talked about this before. I made a joke, the Pepsi Coke challenge. This is where Trustify wins its deals, because most organizations don't understand how bad that they have it, because their users have become accustomed to not clicking on things that they shouldn't, but not realizing how much bad stuff actually gets through. With Trustify, we set up a POC. We do it in a journal-only capacity. It takes 5 minutes to set up, and we run it for a week. After a week, we give you a full detailed report showing you everything that bypassed your existing email system that Trustify would have flagged, because Trustify only gets a copy of it post your system scanning it. So if we get a copy, that means your system did a bad job. We give you that full report. We don't charge for it. When we get these opportunities, we win over 75% of these deals, because it is almost never that there is not some sort of serious threat that makes it through. So the answer is yes, we can do it. No, we don't charge, and it's all managed through our partners at Cyberdisty.
yes. So that's all actually. So before we conclude, I would like to tell about Trustify. So if any customer is looking for an email security, please recommend them for Trustify, and you can reach out to our channel managers in Cyberdisty, Mr. Sham, Ashish, Neetu, all of our team. So the technical team from Cyberdisty will be giving demos, POCs, and implementations as well. So of course, full support will be there from our side, and we will make sure that we will educate all your customers and partners. Whoever is taking the solution from us, we will be assuring 100% that they'll be understanding the solution properly. And it would be great. Like if you have any requirements or opportunities, please feel free to connect to us. And I'm sure like you'll be happy with the email security Trustify. And of course, there are so many solutions in the market like Mimecast, Proofpoint, Checkpoint. So we have like data sheets as well, the comparison sheets we are having actually. So if any of the partner or customers is approaching us with for example, if a customer is looking for a Mimecast, so of course we have a dedicated comparison sheet from the Trustify itself, where we will be convincing them to change to Trustify, like from Mimecast. So that much capabilities are there in the Trustify email security solutions. So like that we have for Mimecast, Checkpoint, Proofpoint, all the comparison sheets, so that we can convince our partners and customers and take it forward from there. So thank you all for joining today's session. And in the chat box, the phone number has been listed down, so you can connect for any demo, POCs, or implementations. So we would be happy to assist. So please feel free to send an email or call on the number provided in the chat box. So thank you all for joining today, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you,
Zach,
everybody.
for the
Yeah,
session.
absolutely. Appreciate the time. Thanks everybody at Cyberdisty. Pleasure working with you guys. Looking forward to tremendous success in 2026. And for all the partners on the call, looking forward to meeting you guys very soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.